sunshine. It's your morning motivation time. I'm your host with the most, is Marky Saint. I got my stunner shades on, and I'm shining this Monday morning, going for the walk. Motivated myself to go on this walk, and it's beautiful out today, yo. It's nice and beautiful. It's a little bit chilly. It's got a little hoodie weather, but to be honest, it's like 60 degrees, almost 70, a sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. As soon as I stepped out, there was a plastic pocket challenge right off the bat, and I went after it. You already know what time it is, so it's always time to pick up trash. It's always time to pick up ourselves. And what was his name? David James Frank. We're gonna talk about it this morning because we just lost another soldier and to suicide, losing soldiers to suicide. And I got a friend that's going for walks and talking about first responders and their highest suicide rate. So we got dudes that do kung fu and know how to kung fu. Look how cute doggies are. Look at her. You want to say hi to all your friends and people in the end. Such a beautiful world. Look, dogs are way more friendlier than humans. And this is where we come to in our lives, It's so funny to see the houses switch from, I guess, not so many things now, from the Halloween's down, Christmas is down. It's time to bring our frown upside down. And that's why I talked about this morning, because it could be anybody named David, James, or Frank. It could be Mark or Saint. It could be any one of us at any moment that decided that life's too hard for us to live anymore. And it's Saint's addiction. I don't like talking about death. I don't like talking about suicide. I don't like talking about abortions. But these are facts of life. And without preparation, I think we're going to have more perspiration. I think we're going to have more dudes out there that weren't a karate kid or weren't successful or wasn't survived by 4 children. It's scary. I think of my best friend, Bryce Hanson, and how he had a business going and he had a beautiful daughter and, all the things that you would hold dear, to think that life would continue on for these gentlemen. And it didn't. It didn't. Something about fear is killing our men. Something about fear and women are killing our babies. And just like I was talking about yesterday about abortion being a cop-out, we aren't really concentrating on how much energy we're putting out there in the universe and realizing how much our decisions and time is worth, and then to be able to calculate the blessing of life. That we're so blessed that this fucking planet is even this close to that sun, and that I was this close to having a son. Bless up to Boulder. 8 pens. Bringing in our morning motivation on this morning. Is stuffed with fucking awesome. It's my first rip of the day. Yep. Ooh. Ooh, tasty as fuck. That's our concentrates, get it right. Every hit's like a fresh green. Top of the morning to you. Shit, top of the tree already. And that's where I wanted to be, is to be on a show that talked about men's mental health, the friends I've lost and how close I've come to losing it, and the things, the tough subjects that men are swallowing down but not processing. It's like an ice cream, you might be able to eat the ice cream, but tomorrow morning, not the lactic acid, but that lactose intolerance kicks in, and you're just like, I shouldn't have ate that ice cream. And I mean, if all of us had hindsight 2020, we'd be all making different moves. And that's what I wanted us to have a conversation about as men, and mental health is moving differently, before we pull the string and commit suicide or pull the trigger and put bullets in our heads. we're biting down on a lot. I watched a little bit of video. I'm not a Power Ranger fan. I didn't even know the dude's name, but I just thought it was so funny that his full name was 3 dudes' first names, and could have been anyone. Could have been James, could have been Frank, could have been Mark. And I don't think people really want to talk about that. It's almost like my show will only go viral if I commit suicide. I'd only get the attention that I seek if I do something extreme, and maybe my emotions that aren't controlled start controlling me. And then you'll see depression, then you'll see suicidal tendencies, then you'll see narcissistic tendencies. It comes out of me. And as much as I love waking up and to tell you, oh yeah, dude, I just made a bunch of money and life is awesome. I was watching one of my old shows and I'm sitting there so positive. I'm sitting there saying you can manifest anything you want, and everything's on the other side of fear, and controlling our thoughts, and making our manifestations into reality seemed legit before I lost a child, seemed positive before a loss. And we are always so shiny before the dimmest of light. It's like the sunrise, it's so shiny right now. But in a couple hours, not a couple hours, but in a day, half a day, next thing you know, the sun is not shining no more. Just like that. Boom, in the shade, you're in the darkness. And I don't think a lot of people want to talk about the darkness. Darkness is, oh, so tasty. Darkness is, nobody wants to talk about the darkness. No one wants to talk about this place that men and women both go, where we start overthinking. I heard that this morning too, that an overthinker is an overlover. And I didn't even know there was such a term as an overlover. I didn't know there was another side to my depression. I literally don't want to be depressed. That's why I go for walks. I literally don't want to wallow in my pain. I literally have to find outlets. I'm exercising the demons, literally having to push these angst and these feelings out of me. I got a buddy who's like, even on Sundays is his church day for lifting weights, and he lost his brother a couple years ago, but the anniversary of the death is something that you won't hear from most men. Most men is like, what's your birthday? I don't fucking know. When's your anniversary? I don't care. When'd your brother die? November 17th, 2013, I think it was. That's crazy. It's crazy that you don't know what's important to men and women. We don't know that we got people that are sitting there normal in front of us but missing their pet, or can't express what they're really feeling. This is a difficult subject. It's not easy to talk about these hard subjects. And yet men, first responders, Power Rangers, depressed women, too, are killing themselves over things that are insurmountable to them, but inexpressible to us. We're sitting there going like, oh man, that's so sad. One of my Power Rangers, one of my heroes died today. And it's like, do you know why he died? Such a cute little kid right here. Do you know why he died? Shit, I wish my life was that simple. All you gotta do is just play. Oh, mom's in the cut every day. It's what we do. I'm glad that there's a parent with them. I was like, where are those fucking kids at? Somebody's gonna watch their kids, But that's our lives, bro. We spend it so frivolously, and we keep doing things like picking up rocks with our bare hands. Kids have no fear, and adults develop fear, and we develop it in such a weird way in our brains, and we learn from past mistakes and bumps in the road, and we assume that those bumps will be in the future, And it's one of the hardest things to shake, is to shake the fear out of you when it grips you. It's almost like the devil. The devil's just so much more real than God. God's so subtle about love. It's not so shocking. Like, holy shit, I'm in love. All of a sudden, I'm in bed with this woman, making love to her 3 times in the morning, every morning. We're making each other awesome meals. We're laughing so hard we're choking on water, and it's all gone now. It's all gone now. I let the devil take the wheel, and next thing I know, I had fear of the worst outcome of my life, and it did come true. And even now that it's happened, the devil's long gone, and I still have to process what has happened. Does that make sense to anyone else? That the reality of the devil and the worst and the fear was so real at the moment. And now when I'm chilling at the house and I got nothing fucking going on, and I'm just watching movies or chilling out, or studying YouTube channels and stuff, it hits me like a 2x4 that moment's past. And even if I wanted to get myself riled up again, to get that kind of energy, that kind of overstimulation, that over fear, that mentality that pushed me to an extreme, is now long gone and just a dream. It's kind of like South Korean prison. People are like, wow, you were at South Korean prison. I was like, yeah, over 10 years ago. It's like, wow, you rode your bike. Yeah, when I was 8 years old. It's so long time ago. And the energy's so gone that I haven't put any energy to it since then. That energy can't be killed, but our energy can kill. And that's a weird fucking thing to fathom, that our energy at one moment, you're looking at somebody that's an OnlyFans model and she's got her boyfriend, and next moment she's lost her temper, she's slamming a fucking knife in his aorta, and homeboy's getting killed, murdered, blood everywhere. You're like, oh my God, how does that happen? How does it happen that these parents have children that they end up killing later? How does it happen that we end up killing ourselves later? And no one seems to care because it's such an individual sport. You're just like, well, the bullet didn't hit me, and I'm supposed to run off this. What is this thing's called? The devices, the aqua devices, where you run off and out on D-Day, and boom, the fucking, even before it starts thinking, they start shooting at that boat, and the fucking floodgate falls down, and just bullets and melee start entering into your boat. That's what it feels like. You feel like, oh shit, man, it's an individual sport. Any one of us can randomly be shot, and then someone randomly does get shot. That's what I'm feeling, like a modern day war, Like, I don't know which one of my buddies is going to be killed. I can't imagine my best friend. He's not president of the motorcycle club anymore, but when he was, there was like 4 phone calls in 1 week of who's going to be the next to die. And I know I talk a lot about death on this show, but it's such a part of life. It kind of keeps us equal. It makes us more aware of how life is rare, and that most of us that can't see that this too shall pass are trying to freeze in a moment that's already passed. Literally almost a year to the day of me losing my child, I'm still in shock to it. Does it hurt as much? No, that wouldn't make any more sense. The energy can't sustain itself on that level. Me freaking out, I haven't yelled at anybody in a whole year. I'm grateful for that. And that would be a lie. I'd have to wait till April, till after getting in a fight at my festival. But going there with people, not so much. It's not so much me. And then all of a sudden I could be quiet for years and disaster can hit. And that's what I felt just happened is, David, James, Frank, however many first names there are out there, there's always going to be a David. There's always going to be a James. There's always going to be a Frank. And no one, frankly, darling, no one gives a damn. When we talk about men's mental health, I'll be the only one on here talking about it. It's hard to talk about pedophilia in my family, or not pedophilia, but what's the other thing? Incest in my family, and abuse and abortions and shit that's just not so shiny, you know? The shirt says rise and shine, you know? But I have to pick myself up from a down to rise. I guess we can make a rise over down shirt, but you know, when we're rising, we have to come up from a level. When we were talking peaks and troughs yesterday, and peaks and valleys, as we say in America, they don't tell you that you're not on the peak for so long. They don't tell you that 20 years passes by and you're not in your prime. By the time you probably elevated yourself to consciousness, 15, 20 years old, you only got another 10 years. So it's literally already, you know, 2/3 of your race has already started. And now, by the time you hit 30, you're an older adult. Your peak has gone past you. And I'm 42, going on 43, hopefully. And it's just such a trip to see my peak go past me. That I peaked at a moment where I didn't even know that it was my best. I'm sure you were being critical of your best and not knowing it at your least. That's what we do as human beings. We just recalculate in our own minds and we're not doing the math. If we had the math right, we would see that every day is a blessing. I looked at Dapper Dan doing a collab with Gap, calling it Pat or something like that, or Dap, just Dap instead of Gap. It's like, that's fucking dope. Dapper Dan has taken over the Gap. He's re-influenced the whole model of that huge name that he has and energy. But can you imagine waking up every day and celebrating your life so hard that you wear a different outfit every day, that you don't just grab the same usual shit and just put it on. You celebrate a new day, and you don't just wrap it up inside the same week, different shit, different toilet. You celebrate it as if it's the fucking jewel that it is. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? What did he say? Bootsy Collins with his fucking stiletto heels and full leather outfits was like that 24/7. He owned his identity. He owned his nickname. He became an icon. And not that I'd say all of us are going to be icons, but wouldn't it be interesting that we could wear a different set of us? That we could be a different person than what's inside of us. And this is where the mostly saints thing comes in. It's like, sure, I'm saintly, but mostly I'm devilish, you know? Mostly it's me making mistakes and pissing people off and pushing them away and being abusive and being too much. I can admit it on a Monday morning while I'm walking out loud when I'm in these relationships is overwhelming, you know? And I don't know why this guy decided to kill himself. I heard he went live on YouTube before he did it. Talk about dramatic. Talk about attention seeking, you know? We talk about thirst traps all the time, but I don't want to be anybody thirsty, and I don't want anybody to be trapped. I wanted everybody to be fulfilled with what they're really seeking. I don't think that these girls would be shaking their asses so hard and showing their buttholes if they had a man that was kissing their ass. You know, somebody that they liked having their lips around their butthole instead of showing it to strangers, trying to get as much showing as possible. One of the girls that I watch was literally showing her breasts right through it, and I'm just like, man, you've done anything you could, including stuffing plastic inside of your chest and showing it full breast and having your boyfriend take pictures day after day. You're killing the game. You might get 13,000, maybe get 30,000 likes, but literally, like at every like, literally, she's losing respect. And that's something you can't buy. It's like trust, dude. It's just something you can't buy. You can't just go around and go, trust me. No, it doesn't work that way. It gets earned, and it gets blown, and it gets deleted, it gets changed. You know, we're always talking about these hoes ain't loyal and loyalty. In a world where everybody's trying to win, our loyalty goes down as soon as the next soldier gets shot next to us. And that's where I'm at with it. You know, a fallen soldier, you know, capital soul, I got soldier shirts, but it's tough because there was a beautiful life out there full of success and children and even fame. And he said it on his show. I was watching it. I don't think it was the episode that he killed himself, but it's starting to get shared on YouTube. And for that to go out into the world and say to someone, I've signed hundreds of thousands of autographs. I've been on hundreds of episodes. I've done X, Y, and Z, champion this, champion that. And he's still not happy. Is that my... Oh, I fell on the carpet and got some hairs on it. Keep that thing on me. Keep that thing on me. So it gets when it falls on the carpet, but yeah. All right, 10 more minutes of shot. So, and to conclude, men don't get a good rap. We're supposed to just keep scoring touchdowns, dunk balls, and whatever else that they pay high dollar for. And they don't care if the athlete is put together. They don't care if they got a predatory girlfriend around them. They don't even care. In the NBA, they give you an accountant, bro. They literally this is about to be the biggest sum of money you're ever going to get in your life. You're going to need some guidance. They also teach these guys to flush their own condoms down the toilet. These hoes ain't loyal. They're trying to do the come up. And the person that you thought you loved because they spread their legs is running a game on you and trying to run exploitatory conditions. And that's a tough thing for us to see in our lives. It's just who's around for loyalty and who's around for exploitation. We played a lot of that in life as humans, trying to find what are the real motives of these natives or these conquistadors and find out what people are really doing in our lives. As she once told me, Britt was saying, we met for a reason. I try to figure out what my reason is for acting this way to certain people. It's not easy when it might be easy for the other people where all their lives are put together. Maybe they just talk to their wives like sweethearts and their kids talk back to them respectfully, and you got no issues. Fine, switch channel, skip. But for those that talk about it honestly, openly, completely, you got saints addiction. You got that ability to say, I'm perfectly imperfect. It's okay to not be okay. Some days I am the statue and some days I am the pigeon. And sure, I'm on top of the statue, but someone's taking a shit on me. And that's something I don't think we ever really get to see. This is also plastic. So when you guys get a chance, any balloons and stuff, they tell you not to because it ends up in the oceans. But you know how we are. We're only here for the moment, building up the moment, the birthday, the baby's first birthdays, the group gatherings. It's amazing. All my friends have kids at the same time. I should have a baby. I'm competitive. I'm jealous. I'm impatient, and I know it. But I'm not impetuous. I'm not trying to not die before I try. Maybe it's a try over die situation, but maybe that needs to be a shirt, for us to give a little bit, make something of ourselves, something that most of us, we don't really do that often. I think that we separate ourselves from reality and time and go to realms. I know I have when I'm watching a movie. All of a sudden I'm in a sports car. All of a sudden I'm a cowboy. All of a sudden I'm anywhere but up here. But when I'm not smoking and when I'm not watching movies, I like to go outside and have clear thoughts. And maybe they're not as fun as a movie. Maybe they're not as fun as a dab pen, smoking weed. Maybe they're not as fun as food. Those things trap me. I always have to, oh yeah, it's on my back. Yeah, baby. Oh, that feels good. Oh yeah, baby. Stretching. That's what I've been doing. I've been doing the stretching more than the YouTube. I've been doing the Still eating the food because I love food. And it's hard to talk myself out of food, but it's not so hard to be in the mood to make a real meal. There's a difference between food and a meal, and a meal has a person sitting with you and enjoying the space of life together. It's like being a dog in a kennel. We're all so close with our what do you call them, snouts touching in the same bowl, smelling each other, eating at the same time, both hungry, both trying to get it. It's the lion's den. And that's where I see it. I want to have meals, not just food. I want to have understanding, not just complications. I want to have another day and not just death. So for me to reach people, hopefully men's mental health or somebody out there that needs it, know that it sucks that I had to come from that and still from that to deliver this message from there. He can't come back. There's not going to be a black, green, or white Power Ranger, whatever color he was or changed to, right? He's not going to appear and break us off the knowledge. But some of us that have been that close, that have lost friends and talk about suicide, think about suicide, and thought about ending it all, one of the motivations is not knowing what the next day will bring. That might be scary for most, especially when you're scared and you're in fear and you think the worst days are always near. I've been there. I've been the shit magnet, mate. I think that's the only reason why I do my show. Is it's like my thing to do is to talk to the hollow men that haven't had children or have lost a child unknowingly or unwanting. I'm here for you. Been depressed with the weight gain on mom's couch, being broke, trying to figure it out, trying to have $1 and a dream, making it happen, talking about dreams, reaching them, motivating myself to just not hold in the position that is given to us in life, but to change our position at the table of life. That's all I'm talking about. Another turn, another round, another ante. Around here the poker goes around and everyone gets a turn and everyone gets 5 fresh cards and you only get to see 2. That's right. And you're trying to make the best hand out of what's in the middle, and so is everybody else. All of us get the 2. We all get 2, and that's it. And the rest of us are trying to make the best hand out of 5. And that's what it feels like at life. It's like, we all want to be so perfect at it, but there's so many mistakes. They don't teach us that. They don't mention that at all. They give you no preparation to say most of the dreams are going to fail. The biggest obstacle is getting up, rising and shining. The hard part is to keep going. The easy part is to exist. And for all of us that are out there, worried about our bills or worried about being loved or putting that kind of fear on our mindsets, we are for sure not attracting the things that we can be, the things that can happen, the future meals, the future loves, the future shines. So that's my morning motivation time. You got anything out of this? Like, share, and subscribe. Go down there in the comments and go, this is how it healed me. I'm hoping it's healing you. Or this is how I healed myself. Maybe I didn't do it through this show. Maybe it's a past show. Maybe it's not me. But if you can share your feelings as a man, hopefully a man, or it doesn't matter, male or women, and saying, how have I got mental health? And let's start sharing that together, because that's what it's all about, man. It's the way we date, 97% of us. It's the way we stay alive. Suicide, thank you for that loud engine noise. You know what time it is. It's like that on life, on God, on the sun, on everything. These are the days of our lives, and it's time that we live it fully, openly, and completely. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your shine. Make sure you go outside today. It's so important. It's such a key for mental health. I can't even tell you. The energy is within us. It's up for us to tap in. So peace and love. And as always, Chigathon. That means goodbye, but not forever in Finnish. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, and subscribe. Ciao. Bella. Beijos. I'll see you. Ciao.